Good day, everyone. I am in Nara. This is the Nara Hotel, a historical place that was built in 1909, and since then many historical figures have stayed here. For me, the most important one was Sergei Prokofiev, who stayed here in 1918. When the revolution started in Russia, he went eastwards to Japan and spent quite a lot of time here. He writes about his time in his memoirs. He was staying here in May, spent about 10 days in this hotel, exactly this time of the year. So the weather was definitely very similar to what I will be experiencing here. I'm very excited for this visit. I will tell you more about Nara very soon, so let's start it. Let's go. Look at these paintings. They are beautiful, traditional Japanese. We're still at the hotel. So now let's go outside. This is the hotel flyer from the time of Prokofiev. So every head of the imperial family of Japan since 1909, has stayed here. Many presidents, President Nixon, President of China stayed here, and numerous other people. You probably have seen this one. This is the main entrance on one of the pictures that I've shown you. And what's also important for me is some of the famous Japanese writers, Natsume Soseki and Yukio Mishima. Some of my favorite Japanese writers have also stayed here. So it is very special. About Nara. Nara was the first capital of Japan in the 8th century. It's a long time ago, but from that time there are quite a few buildings that are still there. Some of the temples. That was when this place became important politically and religiously. So we'll visit some of them. Now let's get on our way. I am in Nara Park. This is a beautiful place with lots of deer. Look at this. I think he wants to be in the camera. He wants to take part in our movie. This animal is holy as it represents the god or the gods. They're all over the place. Prokofiev, what is interesting, Prokofiev is writing in his memoirs that he went and gave some bread to the deer, and then he ended up being surrounded by deers who all of them wanted some bread from him. I don't have any bread on me to go through the experience of the great Russian composer, but I can admire them. They're really all over the place here in Nara. And what is interesting, they're not afraid. They're not afraid of you, I think. Oh. Say hi to your camera. they're not afraid of people. I think deer normally is afraid, but we see a different picture here. So let's continue our journey. So I'm here with my friends, just like Prokofiev was 104 years ago. So Nara became the capital of Japan in 710, and it remained the capital until 784 Christus era. And at that time, the capital was moved to Kyoto, and it stayed in Kyoto. The imperial court remained in Kyoto for more than 1,000 years. And now we will go to one of the most important sites here in Nara, the Buddhist temple, Todaiji. It was at that time that the Buddhism was adopted as the state religion, one of the state religions in Japan. So let's continue and let's go to this wonderful temple. Just look at these two lovers. It's incredible how many children there are here getting their school visits to this temple. So it was the Emperor Shomu who ordered the construction of this temple. And he wanted it huge, he wanted it enormous, as he was looking for the protection of Buddha for Japan. And that's what they did. They built an enormous structure. This gate that we are approaching, the south gate, is the biggest temple gate in the world. A wooden temple gate in the world. Just look at it. It's majestic, isn't it? So let's go through this gate. So now we are through this gate and we are approaching the main building, the main Buddha hall. Behind me is another entrance before we enter the main building with the huge Buddha statue. So this whole complex had also two pagodas on the sides. This temple is the Great Eastern Temple, Todaiji. That's how it's called. And the two pagodas, they're not surviving, unfortunately. They were very tall and probably the tallest buildings of the world at the time. And this was obviously the religious and political center of the Nara era of the 8th century in Japan. Look at this. behind me you can see the Great Buddha Hall, which we are about to enter. This original building actually was about 30% bigger, and the statue inside, I think, was also much bigger than it is right now. The original building was burnt in the 12th century and then rebuilt subsequently, but on a smaller scale. It's still quite impressive. It looks beautiful, very special. I'm excited to enter, to visit, and to see this wonderful statue. So let's go inside. Now we are going to enter the main building, the Great Buddha Hall, it's called. It houses a huge statue of Buddha. And until recently, very recently, it was the largest Buddha statue in the world. It's obviously holy and it's beautiful, so let's see what it looks like. Inside of the Great Buddha Hall, behind me you can see this great statue. Actually, the parts of the statue come from different periods. The oldest one is the lowest part. The middle part is from the Middle Ages. The highest part is the newest one. The fingers that you see, maybe it doesn't look like that, but they are about 1 meter long, and the palm is about 2 meters long, even longer. It's pretty incredible. It's one of the biggest statues of Buddha right now. Let's continue. On the bottom of this great statue look exactly like this. These are the lotus petals on the pedestal of this Buddha statue. Other smaller Buddha statue behind me. It's also pretty big, but not as big as the big one. It's Bosatsu Buddha. It means that he has not yet reached the state of Buddha, the main statue, and you can tell that from the decorations that he has. The main Buddha doesn't have any. Look at this. It's beautiful. It's how this architectural complex, this temple, used to look like. I told you there were 2 pagodas on the sides. This is one of them. This is the other one. So this is the replica of what it used to look like in the Nara era, which means in the 8th century. I've left the Great Buddha Hall. It's behind me. What are your impressions? I'm pretty impressed. It's a wonderful place with a strong energy. I enjoyed it a lot. It's a pity that there are so many kids. They're running around, they're yelling, they don't take the time to appreciate the atmosphere, and for us it's also a bit ruined because it's actually too noisy inside. I can imagine being there alone without anybody or with very few people. It must be a very special, very spiritual experience. So I hope you enjoyed this visit to this greatest temple of the Nara era. And let's see what else there is in this wonderful old city.